Good afternoon, everyone. Looking at Africa, 5 times more rainfall expected in a single month. We look back at cycles in the Sahara, becoming desert, becoming green grasslands and forests again, massive floods, overtopping dams in Sudan, dust storms, and it just never seems to end. This is an area on the planet that's becoming incredibly wet. What would explain that, do you think? In addition to all the other record floods across the planet, it is planet water right now. As we come up October 2024, the Earth's going to be between that squaring of Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter. Not seen since when? 79 AD with that precision of square. There are something that are sort of like rectangles through history, but not this perfect squaring, returning to us, a cycle in itself. So that's where we're going to be exactly in the center there. Sun, Earth, four gas giants in a square in a single quadrant of the solar system, and you can see the Earth here off the planet today. That's an easy one to watch to see where we're going to be versus JPL model. Earth is that blue one. Now it's going to be swinging counterclockwise, like going from that 4 o'clock to the 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then boom, we'll be right in the center in October. So as we start to lock into this square here, electromagnetic changes would be expected on the planet, and maybe this is the reason that we're seeing a lot of extremes right now. It's going to intensify through October, my personal opinion. Now here's an interesting report. African humid periods, talking about the Sahara, the way it goes from desert into green foliage, trees, forests, and then back into desert. All based on orbital wobble. Interesting read, paleoclimate right there for you. Now we are perhaps coming into another greening cycle, and if you knew that in advance, you could put a bunch of investment there and have a new grow zone. Here's the Mediterranean for you. I turned it on its head, different perspective. All the way to the north, that's the Sus Aquifer under Morocco, and the Nubian Sandstone Aquifer, that's under Libya, stretching through parts of Egypt and Tunisia as well. Speaking of water, when I saw these two, the bottom right, the green and the yellow, record-breaking rainfall, Sahara Desert, that doesn't really normally go together in a sentence. So Ben Noel Weather putting it together on the box where the expected 5x rainfall anomalies would be. And we are talking about the Sahel in North Africa. It's that black box, and you can see the precipitation anomaly. So what is going to happen if we look out a little bit longer over September 7th through the next week? That black box there again, notice the total precipitation. Now generally you're not going to be getting 3+ inches of rain in a single week period in the Sahara. That's just strange. Call it what it is. 3.5 inches of rain across the entire region, or 2 inches or 1 inch in just a week. And then we look at this precipitation anomaly. This is the big one here, the 30-day precipitation anomaly. So you can go week by week by week and see how much difference in rainfall there is, but you're looking at that as 500. That's a 5x increase, where that blue box, again, it's right over the Sahel in North Africa. New grow zones could easily be established here with the new above ground precipitation and tapping into the sandstone aquifers beneath Africa. Thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of cubic kilometers of water. Never tapped before. JP Morgan and Citigroup now forecast 2 supersized Fed cuts this year. The stock market crashed in 2000 and 2007 after the first rate cut. In 2007, gold went up over 200%, more than doubling. Silver tripling. Because gold is security in times of uncertainty. And Patriot Gold Group has an no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k could be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. Now we see these seasonal anomalies. Now one thing I'm starting to pick up on too, if we're going to come into a cycle, you'll start to see an uptick somewhere, and it'll be the beginning of the trend. So we see around the year 1999, 2000, you get an anomaly, and then, several years later, it looks like about 2005 or so, you get another anomaly. But they're starting to stack now, as you can see, 2019, 2020, and then we're coming into this one that'll blow. They're going to have to actually raise the precipitation rate on millimeters a day. They're going to have to bring that up to probably 0.20 for what's going to happen here. This is a 90-day period of time. So, you can go from shorter, just a week, up into a month. And then if it is a trend, you should see something on a 90-day or, 180-day. May to August. And that blew into darker blue through Mali and Niger and over into Chad. Central Africa there, you're looking at 3x over the normal. And if we want to stay on another continental, this came out August here, Ryan Maue putting it out. So far 2024 has melted 12% above the normal. That pings and matches with 14% more moisture put into the atmosphere from the Hunga Tonga eruption. We have a connection. Everywhere on the planet, this is going to happen. So that is the connection, the Hunga Tonga eruption, that water vapor eruption, in a single event, 14% more moisture into the atmosphere. Now it's coming out. The next couple of years, it should continue to rain out. So if we're already seeing this, the new benchmark is 15% more volume on the floods and rainfall. How are governments handling this? Well, our infrastructure is getting ripped to shreds right now because of it. So we have a couple more years of this, but then the electromagnetic anomaly perhaps coming up in October. Does this have something to do with amplification as well? Or should be a 12%, 15% increase on the natural, just the water coming back out from the volcanic eruption, but the electromagnetic disturbance. Now, I'm just saying, United Arab Emirates flew cloud seeding flights. Remember, that's the second time they've done it. The first time was, I think, back in April when they had giant floods close to airports, all over the news for everything. And then we get another storm, 18 months worth of rain. And they say they were not cloud seeding, but they just flew a few cloud seeding flights. So anyway, there's dust storm warnings, hail warnings, part of the UAE, flash flood warnings as well, micro bursts, and then we got these like a dust devil, but it's borderline coming into an EF1 there. So if we're looking further down in the UAE, let's go all the way north up into Algeria, and we see this is a proper tornado here in Algeria. So whatever's happening with the amount of cloud cover there, more ferocious storms. Obviously, there's nothing to block the wind. Just like in Kansas, you're going to get something big building. And then also we got at the same exact time, 400,000 people affected by floods. Ethiopia, which is where the new Renaissance Dam is. Largest hydroelectric project in Africa. Also got floods in Oman, just across the Red Sea right there. Oman and Yemen. Dust storm coming in. It goes from day and then it just really overtakes. And look how quickly it goes from day to night. Now, they've seen it before, but if it's the first time it starts happening in different parts of the planet, this would be a little unnerving. Just like giant bolides flying through the atmosphere on a daily that you're watching break apart in the daylight hours, not nighttime. So the floods in Sudan. You can look at the dash line there. The Arabat Dam is overtopped and broken, and it's flowed down through that series of dotted boxes and villages on what was previously a floodplain clear from the satellite. So if you look at the circle there, you'll see that square. That's exactly where they had massive dust storms also preceding these. Record floods. I'll let you decide yourself. So the dam broke up there, Arabat Dam, and kind of uncontrollable. That's pretty large. Wondering what it dragged down too. A gold mining area. I wonder if there's a lot of new relics just under the feet that were washed away, because this entire valley is getting scrubbed. Hard to know what will be found from history. But you can see sometimes there's standing waves. That was what was a bridge that, I wouldn't say collapsed, it just overflowed. And then further down into what is considered the agriculture or the farm area, this is about how deep it was coming in, just flooding the streets slowly as that water dissipated out. Now this is before and after here, and notice how they put it at the top left there, former agricultural settlements. So that dam structure was going to the north and to the west. So the view that you're looking at here, the dam, it collapsed. And then you got the reservoir to the 4 o'clock position, the bottom right, it even says drained reservoir. That thing was completely full, going back. The amount of water that came down was astounding. What's so interesting with this ladder, you can see the dendritic ridges there formed by the supersonic winds on a previous plasma shock wave somewhere that displaced a lot of Earth. But where that dam was set and then rolled downstream, and then it dissipated out in the alluvial fan there that was seen from the satellite. So something this magnitude, I mean, it's over our ability to control it now, and all we're going to have to do is try to cope with damaged infrastructure. Try to sell that as a government to the people now. Well, every storm set, there's going to be something that breaks, literally. Whatever we built before will not be able to handle the additional water. The velocity, the speed of it, and then the height of it, wherever it is, wherever it flows and drains to, whatever we built prior is not big enough to handle it, pretty much. So it's going to overtop, it's going to spill, and you're going to have these massive floods going everywhere, so it's just going to be a continuous cleanup. And then you start to look at mud flood and started this Tartarian research, and it sort of makes sense, does it not now? We are witnessing mud floods on a very small scale in individual locations. But what happens if it's continent-wide, like we're starting to see in Africa? You think 5 times more rainfall in a single month is not going to have some effect on every single country? This is half of a continent affected with record floods. You're going to have to just clean up from now. So get used to it. And that's the whole thing, is things would break. Now, if there's the same amount of things, look at Connecticut, like they lost a huge amount of cabling, underground cabling, all fiber optic cabling, anything that was connected with the internet. There was pipes, there was natural gas, there was oil. Pipelines, the heating sources are different. So there's a huge amount of conduit underground that was broken, ripped apart. And those Connecticut floods were something, massive to behold as well. But it just ripped through all of our infrastructure like it wasn't even there. It's already in play. So for me, I'm trying to grow some of my own food. And Marjorie Wildcraft has a free webinar that will teach you exactly that, how to do raised beds if you're thinking about doing chickens in depth, and you can dive your finger right into that free webinar. Click on that link below. Look for the mater, as they say, that little red tomato. Homegrown 2030. Check it out. Appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Share with friends and family. Hit the like button, all that. Click the bell notification, and let's continue the conversation. See you next time. Bye for now.